Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Aaron from ChewOnThat Apologetics, and today, what I'm going to be doing is pretty much just giving my case, at least, why atheism can't be true. It just can't possibly be, just with how everything is, and how you kind of do have to be a dishonest individual to even get your point across, or to even believe in this, or you kind of just have to not care about certain aspects and just be like, nah, I don't really care about anything theological. I'm just gonna believe what I want to believe, right? That's just kind of what you have to do. So, I'm kind of gonna be, bleh, I'm kind of gonna be breaking this down into 3 different segments, right? So one, I'm gonna be showing how morality, logic, and even the existence of the universe itself is signs of a deity, right? That atheism can't answer, they never will be able to answer, without pulling out some dishonest card, or a card out of the Christian worldview, or just a card out of the theistic worldview in general. So, the first one that I'm going to go after is morality, right? Because morality, everyone has a set of morals. At least I would hope so. Those are people that we would call, like, psychotic. But even then, they have some sort of morals, right? Now, the atheism worldview, they believe in moral relativism, right? So, subjective morality. So it's pretty much like it changes from person to person. But here's the thing. I haven't met a single human being in my 16 years on this earth that has genuinely believed that murder is okay. That just going around slaughtering people for no reason, ever believed that was okay. Okay, if they had a normal head, right? Now, I'm not saying, I'm going to go ahead and preface this, I am not saying that atheists cannot have morals. They do, and I'm glad they do. All I'm saying is that they don't have a justification for this morality in general, right? Because all that they got is that, oh, it's how I feel, right? But in a debate, or really any theological discussion, your opinion doesn't really matter, right? They can't attack a Christian for the morality of anything, right? Like, they love to bring up 1 Samuel 15:3 or Genesis 6 with the Noah's Ark, right? They love to bring that stuff up, and every time they do, what is your basis for your morality? They crumble. They don't have one. Because if you just attack their basis, their whole foundation gets shut down, and they don't have an argument. They don't, right? And the whole point is that they don't have a basis, right? It's pretty much the whole point, is that their morality in the atheistic worldview comes from themselves. They are their source of their morality, or it's the source of the things going on around them. As a Christian, my morality is grounded in God. What has God said is good? What has He said is wrong? We're made in His image. His moral code He gave to us. Now, obviously, we're corrupted. So we go against His moral code all the time. One of His moral codes is, hey, don't disobey me. What the frick do we do every single day? Like, come on now, right? So, we have a moral grounding, though. My moral grounding is God. He made me in His image, made me with His morality, but because of our fall, we have a corrupted nature, and we can go against that morality. Atheists just have to say, yeah, like, I just feel like it's wrong. And that, to me, just doesn't seem like a very good reason for anything, right? I just feel like it is. That doesn't really give a good basis for anything. So, yeah, that would be my case against morality. Well, one more thing with morality is that normally with moral laws, there's somebody to give you those moral laws, right? And if your moral law is just you, then somebody could walk into this. This is a very bad point for atheism, the fact that their worldview is like this. Even if they don't want to admit it, this is the truth of it. They cannot tell a school shooter who walks into a preschool and starts blasting, they cannot tell him he's wrong. That's how bad of a worldview this is. They can't. They could be like, I feel it's wrong, but they can't really ground it in anything. They could just say, I feel it's wrong, and then the guy's just like, well, I don't think it's wrong. What now? Back to a circle. Nobody's right and nobody's wrong. But if you have a God who is above you, who gives you your moral code, now you can say, hey, you're wrong, because you're going against God. Right? Like, that's how dangerous this worldview is that, oh, I don't give a lick about anybody, so I'm just gonna start blasting, right? And they can't tell them that they're wrong. That's how dangerous this worldview is. Now, let's go on to the next one. The next one is going to be logic, right? Now, I debated an atheist, or really it was my friend who debated an atheist. And if this atheist is watching this video, because that's where he like challenged us to a debate, you're probably gonna know that I'm talking about you. But he pretty much said that reality is reality, and that we don't need a justification for these things. They just exist. Like, quote unquote, he said that they still work, and I don't have to believe in a God. Buddy, that's not how anything in this universe even works. It's not that, oh, it only works if I believe in the person who supposedly made it. Buddy, I can believe a basketball exists without believing that it was made by Wilson. Okay? It still exists, and that person still made it no matter what you think. Right? Now, with the actual argument, this is the transcendental argument for God, is that logic, right, mainly logic, cannot exist without a God, right? Because it's an immaterial thing that existed before us, and it exists universally. In an atheistic worldview and a materialist worldview, they can't give a justification for abstract, immaterial things, right? And they pretty much have to boil it down to, oh, we created logic, right? But they don't have a basis, a grounding for their logic, right? They'll say, oh, we see and it works. Telling a story isn't justification, right? That's theology 101. Telling a story doesn't justify anything, right? Now, my basis is logic is grounded in the very existence of God. Since God exists, or it's grounded in the very nature of God. Since logic exists, then God exists, right? And it can only be that way, because you cannot justify logic without God, right? And he was fumbling at this. The only thing he really could do, when I asked him, I kept asking him, justify the existence of logic. He was just telling me, it's a process, right? He was just telling me what it is. He didn't tell me how it is. That's what I was asking. I was asking the how. I wasn't asking the what, right? So, he couldn't really answer that one. Now, the next one is the creation of the universe itself, okay? And this is probably the most obvious one, because I was debating the same atheist that I was talking about, and I brought this up, and I asked him, do you believe matter is eternal? He said yes. That shocked me, because if matter is eternal, we can go at this at two ways. One, just the fact that it contradicts science. The second law of thermodynamics says that the amount of entropy, which is just disorder, in a closed system, like the universe, because a closed system is just things that can't get in and out, there are parts of the universe that are expanding faster than the speed of light, so if light can't get out, nothing else getting out, alright? And we don't know of anything coming into our universe, right? So, it's a closed system. And the second law of thermodynamics says that the amount of entropy, disorder, chaos in a closed system like the universe builds up over time until we experience what scientists call heat death, where there's no more life, completely chaotic universe. There's no more order. Now, if matter is eternal, matter only exists in the universe. So then the universe itself would have to be eternal. But then the universe, an eternally long time ago, would have reached the point of entropy, heat death, we wouldn't be here. Simply, we would not be here, right? It just wouldn't work, right? And the second one is just with time, right? Is the fact that if the universe has existed for eternity, we wouldn't have reached this point. Because you can't reach eternity. Because if the universe is eternal, it has no starting point, and it has no ending point. We couldn't have reached this place, because you can't go all the way back, and you can't go an eternally far forward. You can't, right? So if it's eternal, we want to reach this point in time, because we would be an eternity far back from wherever forward is, and eternally forward from wherever before was. It just doesn't make any sense for it to actually be eternal. Just a side note, just the amount of order that we have, like, kind of just makes sense for there to be an intelligent mind. Creation itself, there has to be an intelligent mind. Like, for example, a t-shirt, right? It doesn't get made from a tornado running through a cotton field, right? You actually need somebody who has an intelligent mind to actually make this t-shirt. This t-shirt is not going to come about by chance. You have to have an intelligent mind, create it, right? Same thing with the universe. The universe doesn't come about by accident. There has to be something to actually make it. That's the intelligent mind. That is God, the creator, who we talk about. He has to be the one to actually make it. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you hit that like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, I mean, this is just, I've been learning more about atheism and just like theology as a whole. Praise God, I've been learning a lot more. Still a lot more to learn, and just comment down below, what topic do you want me to cover in my next video, right? You can leave whatever you want. It can be an objection, it can be a question, it can be a statement, just anything. I threw up 1, 2, and 4, by the way. It could just be something that you want me to answer, something that you want me to touch up on, just something you want to get my opinion on, anything. You can comment it down below. But yeah, I'll see you all in the next video, and that's something to chew on.